Okay, hi, good morning. So I think yesterday we not started recycler view program, right? So that we supposed to start here today. So yesterday we discussed about up to autocomplete text view, right? Or we created this program recycler. So sorry, we are here sample project. We created a sample project. Okay. So we discussed here something about the web services, and after that, here we added UI with this, right? UI with this is the project, right? So we created that UI with material design, right? After that, here we supposed to do the web services program related. So till this data binding we added, right? So whatever we have in this, here we have one button and three text views. So for that, we supposed to write the registration API related that things we used to write. So for that here, what we will do is first we will add with the data binding things here. So that is here. First we will add the button submit. So once we submit the button, then only the next step will be involved, right? So that we will add here. So that already we know the basic things. So like similar, we will add this binding dot. So what is the button? So button is the register button dot set on click listener. So I'm applying the on click listener for this particular button. So once we apply this on click listener, so within this listener, now we supposed to get the data, right? So that is the var uname, that is a username. So I want to find out this binding dot. So that is the username dot text, right? So this is the get text. So that whatever the text I'm getting, so that I want to convert into the this. But normally for the username, we will get the text directly here. But this is a material. So whenever we use the material design, you need to add one extra key that is the edit text in between. So from the edit text only, we will get the data. So here toString, and also I'm changing this as a string. Why? Because if any unwanted spaces are there in a starting and ending, that can be avoided here. So that's the reason I have created that. So the next is the you email. So that is the user email equal to binding dot. So that is binding dot. So that is the email dot edit text dot text, right? So that finally converted into string, and also we will do that trick, right? Then last one more, that is var epass, right? Epass equal to, so that is binding dot password dot edit text, so dot text. So then toString string, right? So toString, and it is a string. We will do that string, right? So like this, I added this data here, right? Once this string has done, now from here means till this, there is no, we already done in a different projects up to this, right? Now we supposed to add the retrofit. So to add retrofit here, we need some dependencies here in a Gradle. So here a Gradle build.gradle, we supposed to add the retrofit dependencies. So for the retrofit program, if you want to write total 3 dependencies are required. So those dependencies, no need to remember, just you can copy and paste somewhere. So that will be fine. But what are the dependencies? So first dependency is the JSON converter. Like here, this retrofit, the request will accept in the form of JSON. So that JSON request we used to do here. So that is here. Just let me check here the program. So from there we will copy and paste here. So retrofit. So dependency, just we will copy the dependency, remaining program we will write. So this dependencies. So either you can save this dependency somewhere, or then and there you can search and you can use the dependencies, no problem. So this is a three dependency. One is the JSON, other is the retro, last one is the converter. Right. So once this three dependencies added, now you can add like this, right? So let once this is done, we will see the next step. So it is almost done. So here now what is the data is there. So that data we used to add to the JSON object request. So that is the reason I'm creating here one JSON object. So that JSON object is here. So JSON object. So I'm creating the JSON object. So with this JSON object, I want to add one by one the values. So that is whatever the JSON object we created. So that JSON object dot put. So that is like JSON object dot put. So here in this we will map key comma values. So we'll map key comma values. So what is key and what is value? Let me tell you. So the key is which has given by the backend team, that is in a documentation or in a API collection. So and value, this I'll add username. This first one we will copy from there. So whatever the username I'm getting from here, that I'm mapping this here. So the next is the JSON object dot put. Right. JSON object dot put. Here I'll map here. Next, you email. So we'll write the user email. So that I'm writing here. Next, JSON object dot put. So that is last. So you pass. Right. So these are all the parameters we can map here. Sorry, you pass. We put here only will change user pass. Right. So it will be done. So this JSON object, we used to import this JSON object. So JSON object has imported here. Right. So once this JSON object has imported, the next step here. So we supposed to create a retrofit request. So there are simple steps like 8 to 9, 8 to 10 in between of the 8 to 10 steps. The complete program will complete by, but try to understand that steps. So, but here before creating this JSON object here, we want here the request. So this is the request, right? So username here you will paste the username. Next email, right? This is the email. Next, this is the password. So this three keys we need to paste here. This, right? This is the this done. So next step here, I'm creating the retrofit request. So for that, I'm declaring that retrofit equal to, so retrofit dot builder. So I'm creating one retrofit builder. So that is retrofit dot, will select from the drop down so that import will happen automatically, so that the next steps will be generated from here automatically. The steps just is building the so retrofit dot builder. So here base URL. So I'll explain you what is base URL. So then next after the base URL, so we convert that into the, so add converter factory. So we supposed to convert this into the converter factory using the JSON converter. So means whatever that we are getting, so that we supposed to get that. So here add converter factory. So that is the JSON, right? JSON converter factory, JSON converter factory. So that is dot create. So finally here dot build. So we are creating a request here. But what is base URL? So in every document, when they give the document, in that up to certain level of URL should be common, like common folder, like API folder. Till that API folder, there is a specific URL should be common for all the requests, so that we can treat as a base URL. But always the base URL should be extended as a, always the base URL should be extended as slash, means it end with slash. So here I write var base URL equal to this. Whatever I paste, copy that I'll treat it here. So I'll write the base URL here. So base URL. So whatever I've written there, so that base URL I paste it here, right? Means normally this we supposed to declare in a strings or somewhere. So from there we can come, like just I declared here in this, it will be also fine, like right. Now the base URL has created, the request has created. Now, so this to access this data and all, now we supposed to create a one interface. So that interface can handle here many things. So that we have to do here, like means in interface only we used to define what type of request and what is the remaining URL, so that we supposed to add in the interface. So for that reason now here, so I'm creating one interface, that is a var retro. This interface, whatever the interface we are creating, right? That interface is common for the entire project. So I'm creating the retro interface equal to whatever the retrofit we created above, retrofit dot create. So I'm creating one retro interface. So that is the sample project interface. Like this we will create with some common name, but here the project we created sample. So that is the reason I'm creating the sample interface. So dot class dot Java. So I created like this, right? Now with this name, we used to create one interface. So that is the create interface. So I'm creating a separate interface for this. See, separate class has created for this. Yes, see the separate class, separate interface has created for this, right? So in this interface, what we supposed to write? So this normal is created, just you can make this as a public, because we used to access this from the entire all the classes from the project, right? So now here we used to add the headers. So that is headers. So retrofit headers. So headers, that is a means which type of content we are passing. That is a content type we used to define here. The content type, this content type header is always it is fixed because nowadays we are using all are in the form of JSON object, JSON only. So this is header is a fixed JSON, right? After that, here now we supposed to write what type of request is. This is already we see in that postman. So this is the post request. So the post request we used to write, and what is the remaining part of the URL. So this is the remaining part of the URL. So that remaining part of the URL we used to write here this. So the remaining part of the URL we is supposed to write here. So this is the remaining part of the URL. Then after that, so we used to create one function. So function, that function is like nothing but here, create user. So create user is my user defined method, that because this I'm using for the registration. So that is the reason I'm adding that is a create user. So how we are setting the data in the form of body. So that is a JSON object. We are sending data in the form of JSON object. So that's the reason here we're supposed to define this JSON object in the interface, right? So let wait, system has struck. So this is the JSON object, like this used define. After that here colon. So here call. So we supposed to call some our like response. What is the response that we supposed to call? So for that here I am creating one new class. This is a new class, register response. So I have created one new class name called register response. Right. So this we can import this call. So here, but this multiple imports has came, but we are discussing this with the retrofit, right? So the related import we can do this retrofit. Done. Then with this name, so I'm creating with this name first with Java class, not a Kotlin. So why I'll tell you. So I'm creating a Java class. So I created as a Java class. Why? Tell you. Because here now whatever the response we are getting, so this is the response. So whatever the response we are getting, success message, you can copy the success message. Then you can go to browser. So in a browser, just you can search with JSON schema to Pojo. So JSON schema to Pojo, you can search. So this is the one, JSON schema to Pojo. So I'll share you this URL. So here I'm sending this in a chat. Okay, so you can save this URL. So here what happens? What is the success message we are getting? So that message you can paste here. So this is the success message, right? So that success message you need to pay, you need to delete it. So I copied this success message that you paste here, and here select JSON. So JSON to JSON you can select here. Then scroll down and here click on preview. So for this, there is a class, it will be created as a Pojo. So the Pojo class will be created. For the Pojo class, we supposed to do here. What happened here for this? Okay, let's check, take from the postman itself, because once we paste somewhere, the special symbols will change like that. So this is the postman is already ready. So here I'm sending this request. Right, once we send the request, here we will get the, see this is the, we got this data. So I'm pasting that here, right? Now JSON to JSON I have selected here. I'll review, right? See, this is the class it is generated. So here, like whatever this we can say has a Pojo class. This Pojo class can be auto generated using this particular tool. So that is the reason I said that you can create Java, because this code can be generated in Java. So afterwards, once we paste that this code there, we can convert into that. So this the class will be created on the name of example, right? So I'll copy this code, right? So I can paste here. So once I paste here, so this is our class, right? So this is our class. So let delete that class from there and replace that with example. That's right. So this generated is not required. This we can remove this. Right. Now this class has created like this. Right. Now this I want to change to Kotlin. So first of all, Control A, then Control Shift Alt K. Control Shift Alt K. I'll share you the shortcut key so that it will see. This is converted into Kotlin. Means maybe you will see that okay, here only we have 3 to 4 lines of code. Why we need to choose that tool? But here this is a small response. You can feel that. But when if I complete of this sample project here, I will show you how much bigger that will come that like. So when we are getting the list view kind of thing, so there are multiple classes can be created. So that time what happens, well, while you write, you will confuse like which response has to write in a which class. So that is the reason this is the best option to do the this level, right? So now this is clear. Then I'll back to main activity. So what we did here, from the main activity, we redirected to uh, interface. So from the interface, we created the request type. From there, we move to the response class. So there we created a response. Now we are back to our main activity. Here, last 3 steps. So by the 3 steps, it will be closed here. So now here, I'm creating one register call. So just it is to register here, right? Register call. I'm creating one register call. So that is register call with reference of this, right? So what is the reference we created? Register response. So with that here I created this here like this, right? Then here whatever the data above we created, that is there in the form of JSON, but that we change to change to JSON object. So because this will accept the JSON object only. The JSON parser dot parse dot parse. So within this we supposed to write JSON, means whatever we created above that JSON object dot to string. So means this is the one whatever we created. This is JSON object I'm using here dot parse. So that is as a JSON object. So sorry, here this is mistake. JSON object, right? Dot as JSON as JSON object. See here, this JSON object we want to do that JSON object. Done. So this is converted into the JSON object, right? Then now the next step. So that is here where whatever we created a response call, right? That is a registered call, REC. Register call, not this one, register call. We created already that register call, right? So the register call, this one. So register call equal to So this we supposed to call with reference of the retro interface. So with this interface, so within interface, what we created there, create user. Create user has we created, this is the method. So this method I'm calling there. So create user, that is in that we are passing this XYZ, means whatever the JSON request that we are passing here. But I have a question here. How can I identify the JSON and JSON object? See, simply you can see here, JSON object means these four letters should be capital. For JSON means only J is a capital, remaining are small, like this. So that is the JSON. See here, it is imported as a JSON object. JSON has JSON object like this. But in the main class, it has imported as the direct JSON object, what the JSON. This what the JSON, that is a Google JSON. So that is a difference. Right here, showing some error. What is that? Conflicting all. Conflicting value station validation. Okay, let's write one more line here. Next here, that is the last line. So where okay, understood. So this now this is a both we used same. So this I'll change as a register response. So both methods are conflicting here. That's so now here I want to write here register response call. Right. So with register response call. So for this, I'm adding the last step. So that last method, I'm mapping that enqueue method. So here the enqueue method is the predefined. Like in this, what we will get is we will get both success and failure. Both cases we will get here. So that we have to call here. That is here using the callback. So that is first we used to write here retrofit to dot callback method. So retrofit to dot callback. So this we used to write the callback. So within this callback here, where we are getting the response, so that we supposed to add registered response, right? So here now, after this, here we used to create open brace and closing brace. So in this now, we have two methods. So one is the override response. So this is for success. They automatically the method has created. So this is last step. Right. So success case it is created. So outside of this success case, we used to create the failure case. Right. The failure case also created. So for the failure case, now what I'll do is here I'll write a toast. So that is toast. So in a toast, I will write what is the exception is coming from this. That exception I'll write here. So that is this at the rate main activity. So I'll create this main activity here. I'll throw whatever the exception it is coming on the top. So that I'll add. So then first let me complete this. So toast dot length long. So finally dot show. Right. So here it is clear. So whatever this exception is coming, so that I'll add. So that is plus t that to string. Whatever it is coming, so that it will be fine. So whatever it is coming, that we supposed to paste it. Right. Now here I want to show if user registration as success. I want to show some message. If user registration is failed, I want to show some message. So here that case can be handled here. So to handle this case here now in a postman, so here we are getting two types of response, right? So means it with two objects. One is the key. This is a message we supposed to show user, but based on the status, we used to handle this case, right? So to handle this case here, so what I'll do here is now here I'll create one var response res response. So this response will get from here. This is the response from the response. So here I'll add response dot. Say response dot means this response we are getting from the registration here body. So in the body that is we are getting there. So dot. So what are the keys we are getting? That keys should be available here. See that is the keys are both keys. Like one is the key, other is a status. So first of all, we used to use status, right? Because in a status we are getting which type of means success failure, right? On that status, what internally we are getting. So based on that, we used to write here. So I'm writing the if. So I want to write in the if else case. So in the if, what should I write? If res, right? I'm comparing with this res, right? How we can compare this? So whenever this res response is equal to something, so that we used to write here, right? So equals to res equals to here. Let's take this case. So here we are getting two types of responses. So whenever res equal to success, right? That we have to paste here. So else, right? Else we used to write something, right? But here I want to show the message exactly what the response is coming from the user side, right? So for the reason I'm creating one more here. So that is this. So instead of this here, I'll get var dot key. So this is the key. I want to show this right here. Now I'll write one toast. So that is a toast dot make text. This at the rate main activity. So here now I'll write that res1. So whatever the response it is coming from there. So that directly I'll write here. So that is toast dot make length long. And here I'll write the dot show. Dot. Right. So this same response I'll copy and paste here. Done. Next here, along with this message, like along this message, like if in case if it is a successful login, right? I want to move to the next page. So register login page. So var intent. So I'm creating one intent. Intent equal to intent of. So that is this at the rate main activity, right? First one is the this at the rate main activity. From here, I supposed to move to the next page, that is login dot class dot java, right? I supposed to move to the next class. Then I'm saying that start activity. Wait. So main activity. Main activity. So here login login colon class dot java I created here, right? Then start activity of intent, whatever we created, right? So this is our regular code only, right? Now here I want to create a new class and name of the login, right? So new class means here new activity we supposed to create. So I'm creating with this empty views activity. So with name of login, right? So the new activity has created. So finally, in a manifest file, we supposed to request a permission. So what permission we supposed to request? So to want to execute this program, we need an internet permission. So that's the reason we supposed to add an internet permission. Then you can execute the project. Right. So now let me run this. We will see this here. Once it is done, we will see this output and we will see the next step. Right, it is running. We will see this output. So meanwhile, I'll open the visor. So till this, we can practice. So in this program, tomorrow we will add the login code. After login, we will add some other conditions. Then after, we will write the recycler view using this retrofit so that we will do the next step. Okay, so this has to, now we will see, once it is done, we will see this output and we'll close the session. So it is taking time. We will see in the next one. We'll run. Yes, almost it is done. Now it will be installed. We will see. It's done. So now here I'm adding the something username. So email, just I'll put some random. So there is no validation here. So that's why I just I'm putting the random data. So let's try this. So I'm clicking on register. See here, it is saying that user registered successfully, right? So it is navigated to the next page. In case with same data, if I submit, so it is saying that email already exists, means our program is working, right? So till this, you can practice the next login and the next steps we'll see in tomorrow's